No one knows? Have you guys heard that today is National Be Kind Day?
No.
Yes.
Maybe.
It's been all over the news. It's been all over Facebook. And the person that they really attribute this Be Kind Day to is Mr. Rogers. And I think you guys have heard that movie's coming out, and I think Tom Hanks is playing him, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, so here's what Mr. Rogers lived by. He always said, there are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind, the second way is to be kind, and the third way is to be kind. And that, I believe that wholeheartedly, 100%. So how many of you remember him? Does anybody? Okay, so what I did is, first of all, it's National Day, but we're just gonna watch a couple minutes of this. This is what I grew up with. So this is Mr. Rogers, and this is his show. But like I said, we're only gonna watch a couple minutes.
This Friday,
we're gonna make history.
Experience the rush that critics are calling extreme movie making at its best.
You're welcome. Yeah, baby!
Ford versus Ferrari, rated PG-13.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Would you be my neighbor?
Okay, so let's go back to trying to get back to the drive. Hold on. I'm going to stop share for 1 sec. Oh, I'm having a hard time getting back to the PowerPoint. There we go. Okay, so does that look familiar at all? You've never seen him at all?
I do.
No?
That does not look familiar at all.
Okay. Well, that's who Mr. Rogers is, and he really was attributed to be a very kind person, and that was his show. And he always started every show exactly like that. So here's what your assignment is for today. And those of you that are attending today, if you do this one assignment, you and give this back to me so I can see that you did it. You do not have to do the rest of the Connects You, because I would rather concentrate on being kind this week. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't take time to read over the concept mapping, because you can, and it's always there. And I'm going to touch on it a little bit, but for those that this is a special thing for you who take the time to show up. Make sense? So really your assignment is that you need to do one act of kindness. It has to be today, and then share it with me. We're going to share it together next week with each other, but you'll share it with me, okay? Doesn't have to be anything major. It doesn't have to be anything where you're going to buy something for someone, just a simple act of kindness. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, and there's a reason for this, is we are going to, and the person that wins this contest I will send a book to, book of your choice. We still have lots of books here. And you may Google for the answers, but you only have, I'm literally going to time it, and you have, I'm going to give 1 minute to answer. Okay, first question. How many miles did the neighborhood trolley, because he always had a trolley that traveled during each season of the show. So how many miles do you think the neighborhood trolley on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood traveled? I'm gonna grab a pencil and keep track. I think we'll do 30 seconds because a minute might be, because 10 seconds.
About 80.
All right, time up. Who has the answer? No. During the each season, and this trolley went all the time. Anybody else have a guess?
80?
What?
80?
You're closer. So far, Virginia's the winner for this one. Anybody else want to take a guess?
100.
Okay, so we're going to give the point to Virginia because she was the closest. 5,000 miles. That's how the trolley was pretty big on the show. All right, reset. Which museum has one of Mr. Rogers' trademark sweaters as part of its collection? And we saw him put the sweater on. That was his trademark, is that cardigan. So today, to celebrate.
Museum of Natural History.
You got it. But his sweaters were his trademark. You saw he always came in and put a cardigan on. So they asked everyone today to do an act of kindness and wear a cardigan. Okay, so here's the big question. We just talked about his sweaters, his cardigan. So where did they come from? Where did Mr. Rogers' sweater come from? Where did he get all those sweaters?
From Italy.
Who?
Italy.
Anyone have a guess? Go ahead, Matt.
Italy.
No, but a good guess, Matt. Who else?
Germany?
Bangladesh.
No.
America.
Virginia?
Germany?
Okay, I'm going to make it easier. From who did he get all his sweaters from?
Andrew Carnegie.
Not even close, Matt. Not even close. All right, so his mother, believe it or not, his mother knitted all his sweaters
Wow.
until the day she died in 1981, and he just continued to wear those sweaters, and that's what he's known for. Okay. So for those of you that are not listening, are not joining us today, I would like you to do the questions under our brain pop. And I want to go ahead and take a minute and look at this brain pop because this is going to introduce our new lesson on concept mapping. Who knows what concept mapping is? Anybody? And no one? No one has a clue? All right, so first of all, I do have to ask one last question though, because we need a tiebreaker. Because Virginia has 1 point, Josh has 1 point. So let's go with, before we go into concept mapping, where is Fred Rogers from? Where's he from? Anybody looking it up?
You need
Latrobe,
to send
PA.
it to Pennsylvania.
Where?
You need- you need to
Latrobe,
send it to-
PA.
Latrobe, please. That's exactly right, Maddie. You got it.
You said it- you said it.
Okay.
What?
We have to do another one because now we have 3 people that have 1 point. Okay. Mr. Rogers weighed himself daily. Every day he weighed himself. And he always wanted to maintain the weight of 143. He always wanted to stay at 143 pounds. Why?
I give up.
No, this is a good one. This is a good one. But it's a little bit hard, but you will find that if you Google.
He always wanted to make sure he swam at 143 pounds to make sure his audience knew him. He was over 33 years.
No, but that's a really good guess, Matt.
For a year.
Okay, so Mr. Rogers weighed himself daily. And the reason was, and he always wanted to stay 143 pounds. And here's why. It takes 1 letter to say I, 4 letters to say love, and 3 letters to say you. So that makes 143.
It's a good thing I gave up.
That's just the type of, you probably could have Googled that. That's just the type. So I will I'll look to see what we have and I'll get Virginia, Josh, and Madison a book. Okay. All right, so I just want you to, this is kind of long, but we're not going to do the whole video, but I do want you to just get an idea of concept mapping.
What is there?
Okay.
Happy birthday, buddy old pal. Go ahead, blow it out. Oh, right, no lungs. Dear Tim and Moby, what is concept mapping and what can I use it for? Thanks, Martin. Well, lots of things, Martin. A concept map is a tool for displaying your understanding of a topic. You can personalize your maps with images and all kinds of creative layouts. That makes them fun to do and useful for all kinds of learning. Well, pretty much anything. Taking notes, doing research, brainstorming ideas, even planning out projects. For instance, we could, the candle. Have you ever wondered what keeps a flame burning? Well, we can use a concept map to guide us toward the answer. Let's start with our focus question to help us stay on track. Next, we'll come up with our main idea. I'd say in this case, it's fire. I like to use a picture or a drawing to get my mind working. Now we can brainstorm related ideas. What do we know, or think we know, about fire? Right, a flame is hot, and it creates smoke. It's usually colored orange, yellow, and sometimes a bit of blue. Wood, gasoline, and candle wax all make good fuel for a fire. Fire needs oxygen, too. Now, besides breath, what are some enemies of fire? Yep, wind and water work. Now that we have some starting concepts, we can start linking them together. It's good practice to put broad concepts like fuel and color closer to the main idea than specific ones like wood and yellow. So fire needs fuel, and these are some types. Make sure to label your connections, even if it's just a single word. Since this relationship has a direction to it, let's make it an arrow. Fuel types we can leave as lines, since it really doesn't matter which way you read it. And I'll give them a different shape to show that they're examples of a broader idea. Images and colors can add even more context to your map, making it easier to read. Nope, these are just my personal choices. Use whatever makes sense to you. Let's take care of the rest of these. Now we have a snapshot of our understanding of the topic. and I'm starting to see where our gaps are. Like, what is fire made of, and just how hot can a candle's flame get? These unknown concepts will help guide my research, and if I find anything unexpected, I can still include it. Fitting all this info into my map will help me understand and retain it. Instead of trying to memorize a list of new ideas, I'll be figuring out how they link up with what I already know. In other words, I'll be converting information into knowledge. Now that we've got a good-sized map, the real fun comes in, discovering crosslinks. These are connections between concepts in different areas of the map, like that the colors of a flame come from a chemical reaction, and that smoke is made of solids from the fuel. Discoveries like these enhance and deepen our understanding of the topic. It may look a bit disorganized, but it actually mimics how our brains store information. That's why you might hear these called mind maps or thought webs. They're visual models for how we think. As you learn more, you can keep adding to the edges, fitting your main idea into broader areas. Like, where does firelight fall on the light spectrum? And since heat's a form of energy, how does fire fit into that picture? Your map can also help you investigate more specific questions, like why does blowing on the candle put it out?
Okay. So I love that I received several of you saying, Maddie, was that you that says that you love Brain Pop? And then Virginia, you said you thought they used this in your school at one time. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I like.
Road tech.
So does that look familiar to you when you saw how they really broke concept mapping down? And
Yeah.
yeah, and the biggest reason it's used is it's really just a visual way for you to organize your concepts. All right, so instead of it all in your head and trying all your thoughts and all jumbled, you can just use a concept map and organize all your thoughts if you're working on an essay or, you know, really any type of assignment. You can use the concept mapping. All right, what? So here's an example. This one is an example of a bubble map. Have you heard of the bubble map? Yes.
Yeah, I've used that before.
Have you? It's pretty easy to use, right, Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we were using the bubble map to talk about Fred Rogers, we know that we would put Fred Rogers in the center, right? And then everything we learned about him, weighing 143 pounds, that the trolley traveled 5,000 miles, all those would go in the smaller bubbles. So, and there's different type of, as you saw, there's different type of concept maps to use, but you always want to remember that the shapes, they're always going to represent the actual concept. And then did you remember we saw some arrows? They were drawing arrows when we were watching the Brain Pop. Good, Josh. And that's just to show relationship. So the arrows are showing the relationship between the concepts. And then the text, that's just identifying what the relationship is, right? How many think they will use concept mapping now or in the future?
I know I'll use it in the tech for retail marketing.
Great. I'm so glad to hear that. And yeah, Matt, you're getting ready to go to college soon. You will use it for sure. Josh, what? Okay, good, good. All right, so our learning target this week is I can organize my notes using concept map. So that's what we really want to get out of this, our lesson this week. But you guys, you have the choice and you can work on your act of kindness. And so we want to remember that week 12 is our concept mapping. We all know that this is what it looks like. So you're going to work through your 6 E's. And that's it for today. I kind of wanted to make it light and fun and just, you know, appreciate that you guys all show up every week. So, and again, you get your attendance points as well. So anybody have any questions? No questions? All right. You guys can go and have an awesome rest of the week. Bye, everyone. Josh, I'll see you in Virginia tomorrow. Bye.